All right. So I'm giving you a little bit of information here. I'm going to tell you 13 times 17 is 221. So we're seeing what we remember operationally. If I know that 13 times 7 is 221, does that help me figure out what 13 times 1.7 is? What's it going to be? Yeah, 22.1. Because this is still 13 times 17. We just took a decimal place in, so we're going to take a decimal place in here. Wow, my handwriting's terrible on that. Oh my gosh. I'm going to close this because it gets very chatty in the hallway. It's a similar kind of vibe on the next one, 130 times 17. What happened down here? Add a 0. So this is going to be 2,210 because we moved the decimal place this way. So we got to move this decimal place that way. So take a couple of minutes, and there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more of these. The next two are the very same vibe. The last 3 are a little bit harder, but you can do it. So give them a shot. You can work with a neighbor if you want to. Spotify listen parties. Like, my Spotify keeps noticing me. They're notifying me that someone's doing a listening part around here. Stop air drying your Spotify to everybody. Keep working through these. All right. That was so bright in here. What's up?
So,
Mm-hmm.
so how'd you get that?
So our decimal point from the 13, right, became 130, so we times it by 10. So we can take this 221 and times it by 10, or scooch the decimal place over 1 with a 0.
Oh, okay, so just time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at some of these. So not E. So we did A and B. Let's look at C. We had 13 times 1,700. So 2 more zeros. So what was our answer here? Yeah, 221 with 2 zeros on the end. You can think of this being times 100. So we took our 221 times 100. That's 100. The same thing works with the decimals. So we've got D, which was 1.3 times 1.7. What happens here? I heard somebody started. Have confidence. Yeah, 2.21. We moved the decimal place in 1. Move the decimal place 1. So since I moved the decimal place 1 here and 1 here, we go 1, 2. Or you think of it as a buck 30 plus times a buck 7. The harder ones down here, E through G, were harder because it worked with division, unmultiplying. So we have our E, that 2 to 10 divided by 13. Yeah, it's going to be 170. We're kind of undoing C with a little bit of extra, with a 1 less 0. Same thing with F. We're taking our 22100. That guy was times 100. We're dividing him by 17. Yeah, we get 1,300. Okay. So I'm going to leave that very last one for you to do all by yourself. You can do it. I believe in you. It's another one that with those decimals, but it's dividing. It's just like E and F. So it's all about playing with those decimal points. Okay. So then we're going to look at the next page, which is page 6. I have my notebook from last year, so it has the wrong page number on it. And I want you to look at this one. We've got Felicia's getting on the freeway to her cousin's house. She's actively driving, so she can't be sitting there with a calculator. She's got to do estimates in her head. She notices she's low on gas, and that there's a gas station at the exit she normally takes, and she doesn't know if she's going to have enough gas to get there. She normally sets her cruise control at 70 miles an hour, and it takes her 15 minutes to get there. Her car gets 30 miles per gallon. We have a lot of information here, and gas is $3.50 a gallon. I want us to think about, and you guys are going to do this on your own, and we'll come together in about 10 minutes and go through some ideas that we have. What are some estimates that she can do in her head? No calculator. Can she get there? What math is going to help? We have a lot of information here. She's going 70 miles an hour. It's going to take her 15 minutes. She gets 30 miles per gallon. Gas costs $3.50 per gallon. So there's 4 different numbers up here. What's going to help? All right? So I want you to look at this. You can talk with a neighbor. I would encourage you to do so. How could we figure out, without sitting there and calculating exactly, we're estimating right here, could she get there? What is some math she could do in her head while she's driving to get there? So take about 10 minutes. See what estimates we can make. Okay, so take about 10 minutes and think about that. Write some estimates down. Write some things down. This is one of those kinds of classes where I'm not necessarily going to tell you what to write down in space. This is all about the thinking and the words. All right, what are we thinking? What's an estimate she could do? So where did you see a homework assignment? That was nice. I made it not a homework assignment, but that's cool. I know, let's put it back up there. What's something she could think about? Yeah, she's going 70 miles an hour, and it takes her about 15 minutes. So could she use that to estimate how far she goes? About how many miles is that going to be? You're right, it does say an hour and 15. So an hour and 15 minutes, about how far does she go? How far is she going an hour? 70. Ooh, did a weird thing. So there's about 1 hour. So 15 minutes is how much of an hour? A quarter of an hour. Is 70 easy to quarter in our head? No. Is there a number kind of nearby 70 that is easy to quarter? Y'all gotta be a little louder. I'm old. What's a number that's nearby 70? 75? 75 is easier to third than to quarter. Because a third of 75 is 25. Go a little higher. 80. What's a quarter of 80? That's half. 20. So we could estimate she goes about 20 miles in a quarter of an hour. So about how many miles does she go? 90. If she can get 90 miles, she'll get to her cousin's house. Does anyone see another estimation we can do from there? What's something we can use that 90 miles to help us see? How many gallons she needs? How can they help us find out how many gallons she needs? You will find I often respond with an obnoxious question when you give help. That is kind of the way this class flows. So do not be surprised when I respond to your answer with a question. Because yes, we can use 90 to help us figure out how many miles or how many gallons she needs. How? Yeah, she goes 30 miles per gallon. We know she's going 90 miles. So about how many gallons of gas does she need? 3. Because we have 90 miles. 30 miles per gallon. What operation are we going to use there? Divide. We're going to divide the two. And it gives us how many gallons? 3 gallons. If she knows she's going to need to get about 3 gallons of gas, about how much is that going to cost? The $3.50 per gallon. Yeah, so $7 for 2, then another $3.50 gives us $10.50. So if she has about $10.50, she can get enough gas. If she knows she has 3 gallons, she knows she can get to her cousin's house. Were any of these calculations so complex she would have needed to pull to the side of the road to do math on her phone? No, it's just an estimate. So it's not specific. It's not exact. It's not super precise right here. This was just an estimate. And it's one of those things, sometimes in order to do the mental math, you can kind of round a little. This is not precise because we rounded right here. This one rounding made all of our numbers so much easier than if we did 70 divided by 4 and get 15 and a half. No, 17 and a half. Even worse. So we don't always have to be super duper exactly precise. A lot of this first chapter, we're going to be using some estimates. We're going to be doing some rounding. We're going to be getting close. We're going to work towards getting more and more and more precise. We're going to start noticing some patterns in things. And we're going to use a lot of stories and a lot of story problems. If you look through this book, you will notice more pages than not throughout the whole year, more pages than not are story problems. Because where are story problems based on? The real world. Okay? So this has a lot to do with real world stuff, a lot of, this is a math you may have to do. This is a math, if you are going on a road trip and you're like, shoot, I don't know if I got enough gas to get there. I have $10 in my pocket. Do I need to go digging through my change jar to get to my cousin's house? If I only got $10 in my pocket, I got to go find some quarters. Because I need $10.50 to get there. I don't have that right now. So these kinds of things can come up. Yeah, probably we're not going to go super specific on that. We're going to go find all the change we can and get as much gas as we can. But it's one of those things, being able to do these estimates in our head is working towards that fluency that we're looking for in here. Okay, so this course has a lot more explain, a lot more why than you guys are going to be used to in math. And a lot more of me responding to your suggestion with a question. Just as I know from my last couple of years, it'll become to the point that you get very annoyed and roll your eyes at me harder than you did today. Ah! Notice how hurt my feelings are. Oh my gosh. I take a sick joy in it. Just saying. Okay? So, a lot of times, I will respond to your question with a question. We are going to be doing a lot of working together. So this whole sitting in silence thing ain't gonna last. Ain't gonna last. We do a lot of projects in here, a lot of group work, a lot of partner things. Lots of y'all gonna talk to each other eventually. It's gonna happen. So you might as well start talking to each other so we get used to each other. Like all my posters that hang on the wall, those are all group projects from this class. That'll be later this semester. Y'all get to do something like that. When we get to catapult building, when we get to throwing dolls off of the balcony of the theater. For a reason, I promise. But like all the things, like a lot of the activities we do, we're going to have one in a couple of weeks where you're going to work with a partner. And you'll have to talk to each other. Oh my gosh. The worst thing ever. Okay, so you're going to get used to each other. We need to be able to communicate with each other about math and other things and talk. Okay. I believe I have 10 of the What Makes You Happy homework. There's more than 10 of you in here. If you haven't done it yet, then email it to me. You can use your Gmail, like your school Gmail. You have my text number. Do you still have it from last week? The pink paper around this room here also has my text line on it. So if you ever need to like text me something or homework or you're stuck on something, you can do that. Or you can email me, or if I can help you with it if you pull it up. If If you open it up, I can help you figure out what's going on.